I am going to do this out of sanctity, and I mean this genuinely. I am going into this video with the most good faith as humanly possible. As a guy who used to be a very big fan of Toho Sniper, brother, I am going to do this. I am going to react to your video to show you how your audience or your videos will be perceived by an audience outside of your own. Toho, I am saying this once again as someone who used to be your fan. How in the fuck have you become this cringe? It is insane. Brother, your content reeks of desperation, attention-seeking, patheticness, the feigned narcissism. Because here's the worst thing. I know you're not a narcissist, but you're trying so hard to act like one. Oh my God, it's the most cringe thing I've ever fucking seen. I promised myself I would never watch this on stream. But I'm going to do this to try to help the guy. Because right now, and I'm going to be real, I'm going to say a lot of fucked up shit. I'm going to talk hella shit on this guy. And I don't even need to. I don't even need to because the video makes him look big enough as a retard as it is. I am literally giving Toho the biggest retard in Gacha Gaming Award. Straight up. This is the god of Gacha. Brother is the god of unemployment. This shit is insane. I am going to warn you, this is about to be 17 minutes of the most cringe shit you have ever heard in your life. And I am begging this guy to go back to normal. Brother, 12,000 views cannot be worth this. Rent cannot be this high. And brother, rent cannot be this high. So guys, pause. I'm going to put this in 1.25 speed, and I'm going to try to get through this without dry heaving. Oh, and by the way, the reason why I'm reacting to this is because I mentioned in this video, he's trying to bait me to react. Congratulations, it worked, but good God, this shit is embarrassing.
So dudes, welcome back to the second episode of Delusional Gacha Takes. I'm your host, the god of Gacha himself, Tuhu, and today, I'm going to talk about everyone's favorite Honkai Star Rail drama as of late, the dreaded account passive drama.
This is something that we should all know, and we should all get it. We all heard this topic. By the way, once again, not god of Gacha, god of unemployment.
And why, if you're quitting the game because of it, you're retarded.
If you don't like this thing that's happening to your game, and if your game goes in a direction that you don't like and you quit it, you're retarded. What?
If you're new to the channel, my name is ToeSniper98, but again, you can just call me Tuhu, and I am the god of Gacha games. I've been
Oh, Jesus. All right.
playing Gacha for the last 8 years, and right now, I'm maining 13 of
He's been unemployed for the past 8 years?
them at once. So I think it's safe to say that I know what the I'm talking about when it comes to Gacha, more so than a lot of these other dog YouTubers and streamers who do nothing but clickbait, rage bait, and drama farm, and think they can call themselves Gacha content creators. And
Okay. Now, first of all, everything that you just said, that these other creators do that you don't do, you do these things. This is the first 44 seconds, guys. This is the first 44 seconds. And I'm sorry, if you play 13 Gacha games at the same time, your entire opinion is discarded because you're a fucking failure. You are a failure in life. And I hate to break that to you. Your mental illness should not put you on a pedestal above anybody else. It's embarrassing. It's not cool. And that sounds like someone bragging about someone who's a 50-year-old virginity, or 50-year-old virgin because they're waiting for the right one. And wow, all you guys are having sex? What losers. I'm still a virgin. You sound like a fucking imbecile, Toho.
And this video is going to be a part of a new semi-regular series that I got going on my channel here, where I discuss Gacha drama that either I come across or viewers let me know about, and I feel the need to call it out. And as I said in the beginning, the drama I want to talk about today is the global account passive debacle in Honkai Star Rail. Ideally, I should have made this video back when the drama was really going down, but hey, Casterus is about to come out, so you know for a fact that people are going to bring it back up, so here we go again. For those of you
Just like Casterus will revive you if you died. Ah, it's so cool. I love it. Nobody gives a fuck if you pull Casterus, man. Nobody gives a fuck. right? The only thing that people give a fuck is when people say, oh man, this is really bad for the fucking game. I'm going to pull it anyways, right? It's just hypocritical. And you know what? You're entitled to be hypocritical. It really wasn't that deep, right? But for a lot of people, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. The lack of anniversary awards, the no communication from the devs, the horrible story writing, the horrible world building, the horrible pacing, and it just wasn't heading in a good direction. And I think we can all agree 1.0 Star Rail is better than 3.2 Star Rail. A lot more cohesiveness, everything had stakes, everything made more sense, and it was a good, complete story. And these days, we're just not really getting that.
Who don't play Star Rail or you're out of the loop, starting a few months ago, thanks to leaks, we learned about the possibility of MiHoYo adding a global account passive mechanic to the game, starting with Castorus, a character who will be added to the game with the 3.2 patch. This passive that Castorus has can revive a downed character once, even if Castorus herself is not part of the team, on the condition that another teammate can either shield them or heal them within a turn. Otherwise, the revived character goes back to being knocked out and stays KO'd for good, hence why players are calling it a global account passive. When this mechanic was officially demonstrated in the 3.2 preview stream, the Western Star Rail player base rioted hard. Like, it wasn't Genshin first anniversary levels of rioting per se, but this is certainly the single biggest drama I've seen out of the Western Star Rail community to this day. To my understanding,
Nah, there's been way bigger ones. There's been way bigger ones.
People are upset with this global...
It really wasn't that much Westerners freaking out about this. You know, it was pretty much just like me and Gacha Smack, and that's pretty much just it. Because we're just like, really, man, we knew you were bad, but man, now this? It's like, Jesus Christ. And it's another thing where it's like, we're just waiting for Honkai Star Rail to get better, and this is just another thing to make it even worse. And when more global passes come out, and they will come out, it's going to get even worse. And it's like, what's the point of keeping up with it?
Account passive mechanic because of two main reasons. The first one, the not as bad reason, is the passive itself. Some people out there think that this revive is actually really strong, broken even, and it'll be crucial in dealing with enemies that'll show up in the 3.2 update. So it makes casters a must-pull character. The second and bigger reason is that more than the passive itself, players are more worried about the fact that this will set a precedent for MiHoYo to start shoving even more global account passes into the game like this one, and that those ones will turn future characters who have them into must-pull characters as well.
No, so here's the reason why this video breaks my heart. He does such a good job of presenting the issue. He actually did a very good job. But the problem is, he sprinkled in a whole bunch of this bullshit where he's trying to act like the only motherfucker that should be praised. And that's why it's so cringe, because you'll see what I used to really like, which is the good analysis and breakdown. And then you see all this shit of, guys, look at how fucking sick I am, bro. Look at this shit, man. Look at how huge my cock is. And it's like, bro, you haven't earned that shit, bro. Nobody knows your ass. And it's just weird as fuck. Like, I get if Robert Downey Jr. does that shit, but if Tim from accounting does that shit, it's weird as fuck.
Otherwise, the game will become unplayable or something like that. And so because of these reasons, both players and content creators alike out here in the West have either been threatening to or have claimed to already quit Star Rail, with some of them even going so far as to say that it's the ethical thing to do in this situation, and other lies they like shoving up their own asses.
If you're a content creator and you say a game is horrible and it's getting worse and you continue to play it, what type of man are you? If you don't stick by your values, what type of man are you? Right? That's all it is. Global passive goes out the window. You can't sit there and tell your audience this shit's really bad and then keep doing it unless you own it, and then, you know, it is what it is. I'm just not really that attached. Gacha Smack wasn't really that attached because we've been slowly getting weaned off the fucking games because every update, it just gets worse. And it's just embarrassing. It's pretty much the right thing to do. If there's a product that you don't think is worth selling, why are you trying to sell it to your audience? You see what I'm saying? It's like even me. I have this different way that I speak and this phrase that I use to my Twitch chat whenever I do a sponsored stream to let them know the product that I'm selling isn't good and for them not to try it. Because it's important to me to make sure that my audience doesn't get disillusioned by what how shit the game actually is.
As you might be able to tell from my tone already, I think these reasons to freak out about Castorus' global account passive thing are trash, and anyone who's either claiming to quit or has already dropped the game because of it don't deserve to play any other gacha game whatsoever, because they fundamentally do not understand how Star Rail works, and they can't handle a gacha like Star Rail. Frankly, I don't know if they can handle much else.
You can't handle my gacha games. You're not good enough to handle my gacha games. You're just not as cool as me. Yeah, you're not. You never last a day playing a real gacha game.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to replay that just so you can hear how gay this is again. Like, this is insane.
Of it don't deserve to play any other gacha game whatsoever because they fundamentally do not understand how Star Rail works. And if they can't handle a gacha like Star Rail, frankly, I don't know if they can handle much else. How Star Rail works. And if they can't handle a gacha like Star Rail, frankly, I don't know if they can handle much else.
Yeah, guys, you're dumb for wanting to play the good games and not the bad games. Just like video games, just like gacha games, 99.9% of them are shit. And you know that's the truth. I'm going to pull you up an example, okay? And I'm going to show you this. Every game that you see here is probably better yet. Let's do this. Let's look up single player games. Here we go. So as we scroll down this, you're going to notice there's a lot of fucking games, right? A single player game. Are you going to say that someone who really enjoys Oblivion and wants to stop playing Skyrim because it's not as good as Oblivion, are you going to say, yeah, bro, well, just because now you only play Oblivion and you didn't want to play Skyrim because it had a mechanic you didn't like, yeah, you'd never be able to handle WWE 2K 2025 or Diablo 4. Well, yeah, well, I wouldn't want to play those ones because I just want to play the good games, right? And 99.9% of all genres are shit. It's about playing the diamonds in the rough. Nobody has the same mental illness as you, Toho. We just want to play the good ones. And right now, the good ones are, for me, Wizardry, Limbus Company. I'll be real. I like Pokemon Go and fucking Wuthering Waves. I'm going to play Ananta. I'm going to try out Etheria Restart. I'm going to try out Azure Familia. I'm going to play Arknights Enfield. But nobody wants to just sit here and play a game that's shit, that the only purpose is every time you play it is, man, this game really wants me to spend money on it, huh? It's obnoxious. It really is.
Then again, not exactly surprising considering this is the Hoyoverse community we're talking about. So allow me to explain why I think this whole drama is not as bad as your favorite dog content creators are trying to gaslight you into thinking it is. And
So I always want to ask you an honest question. If all these content creators are so bad, why can you not break 1,000 views on any of your videos? Right? From just a mere month ago. Why do you think that is? Maybe it's because your content is fucking slop. Right? Let's look at this real quick.
hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another month of Dolphins Log for the only event I have left to do in Zenless is this one. I did decide to pick up a copy of Brimstone. I've been meaning.
Is this why your content's better? Because you break down how to be a whale in gacha games?
To get a copy of Brimstone because I meant to get that. I meant to use that one.
I want you to tell me.
I believe third up is Bernice. Yeah.
I want you to tell me.
A martial art? Yeah, sure. As long as it works.
I want you to tell me how you think that content is better than anybody else's. I'm just confused because you're going at Gacha Smack. You're going at St. Tontas. You're going at me. You're going at Mr. Pokey. You're going at Fob. You're going at Ethan. And you are going at anybody begging to God that they'll pay attention to you, man. You're going at everybody. And it's embarrassing. And you'll notice that everybody in my chat is calling you King Retard. You're also going after Ryuku. And that's not like a coincidence. That's not because, you know, all these people are against you. It's that's how you fucking seem. And you need to understand how embarrassing that shit is, man.
Let me start by saying that I do
Yeah, you're not the god of gacha. You're the god of retards, man.
not think Casterus' global account passive is broken at all.
Okay. Well, it's about the precedent. And you're arguing things that people aren't arguing. I want to let you know, Toho, this video didn't make anybody angry. It didn't make anybody mad. It just made people feel sorry for you, man. This level of patheticness, this level of desperation, it's just sad. Like, it really is. It's like, damn. Because we all see through what this is. Toho, you fell off hard. You probably don't have enough money to pay your rent. And I'm just being real. And now you have delved deep into trying to rage bait people to watch your content slop so you can hopefully make ends meet because you're and I mean this with as much respect as possible. You are such a fucking loser being a dolphin in 13 fucking games. You are ruining your life by playing these gacha games and you don't get it.
The way I see it, it's basically a more useful Bailu revive because it's global, and you don't actually need to have casters on your team to have it activate. But Bailu is the point of reference here. And, like, how often is she used in endgame content by tryhard players these days?
Well, Toho, if you were to think about this for 2 seconds, the passive on Bailu is quite good, but it's the rest of her kit that isn't good. Now, if Bailu was a really good healer and had that passive, then she'd be really good. But they took the best part of Bailu's kit and they gave it to everybody for free. Because the reason why Bailu isn't run is because she doesn't have a cleanse and she's far too RNG, right? So that's why this comparison that you're trying to make makes no sense, right? And if you weren't so busy trying to rage bait with this video, you might have actually thought about that.
Plus, if you are an actual hardcore player in Star Rail and you play and grind for endgame to be able to full clear stuff like MOC, Pure Fiction, and Apoc Shadow, here's the thing. You aren't relying on things like revives in the first place.
Well, for now. But the thing is, every new character, the game is balanced around having the new character. That's how it's been for every single mode ever. Right? And balancing around having an instant revive is pretty dangerous. And there are some leaked footages of a lot of bosses with one-shot mechanics that weren't previously there. And that's the problem, right? And also, calling yourself a hardcore gacha player, man, that's fucking gay.
Because you have no reserve characters in a game like Star Rail and you can't replace anybody who dies, you have to make sure that your team is strong enough to the point where you don't need to worry about anybody dying in the first place. Or at least you know that your teams have a good chance of making it all the way to the end without losing anyone. Obviously, you can get some bad RNG here and there. For example, the enemies all target down one of your characters, but you can just try again and either change up your strategy or your team itself, or pray that you get different RNG at the very least. But ideally, your team should already be strong enough to the point where you can clear endgame content without losing anyone to begin with.
So, all you gotta do is be stronger than all the content, and then you'll win. Man, Toho, I never thought of that. You're right. If I just make my team really, really, really strong and I never die, then everything will be fine. Oh, okay. Now, I have a quick little assumption, guys. How many of y'all think Towo's free to play in Honkai Star Rail? How many of y'all think he knows the power level of a free-to-play account in Honkai Star Rail? Now, even more so, how many of y'all think Toho knows the power level of a free-to-play casual player at Honkai Star Rail? One who only plays maybe 30, 40, 50 minutes a day because they actually have a fucking life. I got a feeling you don't know what that's like.
So by that point, what use is Casters' passive then, besides to cover some bad RNG? The main...
Yeah, bro. As long as your account can just kill everything for free without ever dying or losing, you'll never need a global passive. It's definitely not about what the precedent represents and what lower account levels are actually capable of doing.
The main function of Casterus' global revive in the context of endgame, in my opinion...
I want to show you this, Toho. I want to help you out here, buddy. So, Toho, here's a current tier list of Honkai Star Rail. You see how all of the T0 units are units that came out in 3.0? And how every other unit that's not 3.0 is at the bottom of the tier list, with the 1.0 characters all the way at the bottom? Yeah, that's because Honkai Star Rail balances the game around the newer units, right? And it's a bad precedent, and people are seeing things being tacked on like global passives, which are going to make these issues even worse. I really, and now let's look up something else here real quick. I want to make this abundantly clear to you. I really want to make this abundantly clear to you. Are you noticing how Wuthering Waves came out? And not only is the main fucking character in T0.5, and another character they gave away for free in T0.5. But even Jin Shi, a 1.x unit, is still in Tier 0. This is the reason why people prefer, oh, and even a standard banner unit is in Tier fucking 1. This is the reason why people prefer Wuthering Waves, because it doesn't have a ludicrous power creep issue, and it feels like the developers are balancing the characters in a way where it doesn't completely shit on everything else to a severe degree, right? And not to mention, if you're good at the game, you can just solo everything as a fucking 4-star unit, aka Danjin, right? So hopefully that makes sense. That's why people have the problem. And that's why I'm saying you wouldn't be able to handle any of these other gachas. Well, that's because we don't want to, because we only want to play the good ones. And the good ones, that's enough time for us to be spent on video gaming because we have a fucking life. Guys, I'm going to venture to say I have a feeling that Toho probably lives alone and is a single, or it is in his fucking family's fucking house. Like, I'm going to be real. I have a feeling he's unemployed. I have a feeling that he's single, and I have a feeling that rent's due, and man, he needs money. Yeah, I mean, this shit just reeks of unemployment, man. I'm really just not going to lie. This shit, woo, stinky. The only thing I want to smell from you is a job application, buddy.
Is that it's an insurance policy. In other words, it will be most useful for players who are like close to full clearing in endgame mode or close to
why bring his private life into this? Just curious. Oh, because I'm an asshole. Oh, because I'm a massive fucking asshole. I'm a massive fucking jackass. I take everything way too far, and I'll be real, I don't care. I mean, here's the reality, guys. Have I said a single thing that y'all weren't already thinking? Hey, guys, I'll be real. I've made a career by just saying the quiet part out loud. And there it is. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't fucking care. I hope that helps.
Reaching like the next threshold of rewards at least.
This guy's entire channel exists because we stopped bullying people, right? This shit's embarrassing. Let's keep going here.
Their teams are almost strong enough to be able to get the job done, but they keep losing a character, and that's stopping them from like being able to properly 3-star a floor in MOC or something. For players like these, Casterus's passive will benefit them the most, because it'll give them that extra little push that they need to reach their next reward threshold. And I'm not bothered by this because they were almost there already. Right, with a bit more grinding for materials and better relics maybe, they would have hit it on their own without Casterus's revive anyway. So I find Casterus's global revive thing to be really underwhelming, man. It's a band-aid solution.
Well, it's also a global passive that represents what could be the future and what will be the future, as well as the literal, like, top-tier character in the game right now. So it's pretty impossible to skip her, man.
That you shouldn't even have to use as long as your account is strong enough. So for anyone out there who truly believes that it's broken or like overpowered or something like that, you must have totally ignored the dude we're getting after Casterus, whose ult, what does it do again? It straight up puts all 7 elemental weaknesses on all enemies. Forget Silverwolf getting power crept. What the actual is that? Now for the
Yeah, if you're going to quit Honkai Star Rail over a global passive, you realize there's something way worse happening next patch, right? Like, come on. Like, why would you quit over this problem? You know that it's going to get worse, right? Like, why are you quitting the game? Brother, how are you this dumb? That's what we know about Anoxa too. We know it's going to get worse. That's why we stopped playing. How do you know? How does everybody else on Earth get this and you don't get this? It's insane.
For the arguably more important half of the argument, the fact that Casterus now sets a potentially dangerous precedent for MiHoYo to start adding more global passives that might actually be more broken.
Yes.
I want to preface this by saying that I do think this is a legitimate reason to be concerned. MiHoYo.
If you think it's a legitimate reason to be concerned, why are you calling everybody else an idiot who's concerned? Jesus Christ.
It could easily throw us a new character who has like a global account passive that just straight up gives your entire account something like, I don't know, like plus 10% crit rate and plus.
Man, wouldn't that be so bad? Wouldn't that be so bad?
Videos have more views than those of Saint Hunters.
Wouldn't you be shocked if there was a global passive that came out that gave more crit rate, guys? Man.
50% crit damage or something hilariously stupid like that. And since by now I'm sure that there's quite a few of you watching this right now thinking that I must be some kind of Hoyo shill, first of all, don't get me confused with Saint Tontas with the way that he sucks Kuro's dick daily. And second of all, I'm not exactly.
Where did that even come from? Okay, I'm not going to get you confused with Saint Tontas, and let me tell you why. The reason why I'm not going to get you confused with Saint Tontas, right, is one very simple reason. Brother, you got 92,000 views in the past 1 month. Saint Tontas got 4 fucking million, right? The reason why I'm not going to get you confused with Saint Tontas is because nobody knows your ass, bro. Nobody knows yourself. Cool. So you attack with made-up personal insults and yet crash out when people call you a rapist. Actual fucking hypocrite. Yeah, I think there's probably a difference.
Exactly thrilled to see something like a global account passive myself either. The concept that a character in a gacha game can influence a fight that they're not even a part of is actually insane. Like, I play 13 different gacha games, 16 if you include the ones that I dropped, and only one of them comes close to having like a global ability. Azure.
Great screenshot. Yeah, so you understand why it's a problem, huh?
Lane of all gachas. Some ultra rares in that game have abilities that let them assist fleets that they're not even a part of, but at least in that case, they need to be a part of the actual overall battle itself. And characters having this much power and
guys, don't get clickbaited. They're just title screens, and when you play the actual game, they turn into chibis, and you don't get to see any of that. So don't get baited.
Influence can obviously be insanely overtuned, or at least they have the potential to be. But here's the thing, as much as I too wouldn't want us to get insanely busted global account passives, I still wouldn't think that's enough of a reason to quit the game entirely, as crazy as that might sound to some of you. Actually, a lot of you, given how much this drama's blown up in the past few weeks. And the reason why is that Star Rail has always been the kind of gacha whose endgame is heavily dependent on whether you have the latest characters or not. Personally,
Guys, Honkai Star Rail's always been bad. Why would you quit now that it's become worse? But I don't get it. The game's always been shit, so why would you quit now? It's always bad. Brother, we are 8 minutes into your video that I've been watching on 1.5 speed, and this react right now is 30 fucking minutes. That's how much dumbass shit that you've said that I've had to unpack. Jesus.
I realized this back when we got a destruction crew of year 1, characters like Blade, Jingliu, and Daniel Alter, and they became our new top tier DPSs back then, and made our early game DPSs like Selly more or less obsolete, and has basically stayed that way ever since. Matter of fact, gacha games in general oftentimes do this, where their metas evolve with the release of new characters and or mechanics.
Yeah, and those ones are bad, so we don't play them. Yeah, we play the ones where that doesn't happen. Yeah, it's really that easy. Yep. Yeah, so those ones that are bad, you just don't play it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Do you get that, Toho? Or no?
Oh, you're an FGO player?
Because for HSR, every 3 weeks, a new character comes out that makes like 9 other characters obsolete. I hope that helps.
I hope you have an Oberon to farm those 90++ nodes, or at the very least have support Oberons on deck with the event CEs you want. You're a Blue Archive player? Alright, then you better have a UE40 Kisaki for damn near every single raid from now on, if you
And you better wipe your hard drive.
want to hit top 5 or 10k. What's that? You play Nikke? What do you mean you don't have Overspec Rappi, Cindy, Crown, Asuka 2, or any of the other top tiers for solo and union raids? Star Rail is an extreme...
Yeah, did you notice how you didn't say Limbus Company or Wizardry or Wuthering Waves? Did you notice how you didn't say any of those 3? Yeah, the reason why you didn't say those 3 is because those 3 don't have that problem. And that's why we play those ones. Just because you like gacha games doesn't mean that you have to play every gacha game. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that helps. Because I'm trying to educate you, brother. And you can watch this react and you can get upset at me. Chat, tell me when I'm telling lies. You can watch this react and you can get upset at me. I want to let you know the shit that I'm saying is what all these fucking people are thinking. I'm letting you know how you making all these people think. Straight up. And you can take this. You see how they're typing that emote that you see, the green, the red one. You'll notice the arrows on the left. The emote, I'm going to show you this. It's called Truth Meter. And the reason why they're typing Truth Meter is because everybody is thinking what I'm saying. Toho, you were literally one of the best content creators in the space, but this video reeks of desperation. It's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing. This is, I mean, bro, you are one of the smartest people in this space, and you look like a fucking idiot. It's insane how horribly you're misrepresenting yourself. And is this video condescending? Oh, abso-fucking-lutely, brother. I am little broing you so fucking hard right now. But you can get upset, or you can take this video as a sign to get better and make your content not shit anymore. Because this shit is embarrassing, bro.
extremely casual game outside of its endgame stuff. If you're not
No,
tryharding,
no, for
global
real. He is thought bro was retarded? No, I shit you not. This guy used to be really fucking smart and have really good introspective on a lot of these games. Bro fell off so hard, it's insane. No, guys, for real. He legit was well-spoken and he knew a lot. Bro has fallen off so hard, it's insane.
account passives are nothing more than cute little lore tidbits that help tie the character's abilities to the game itself. They only will start to matter when endgame is in play. But here's the thing, the endgame modes, like MOC, Pure Fiction, and Apoc Shadow, are optional. This is something I mentioned in a video that I made last year about power creep. The main content of a gacha game are its story missions, or main quests if you prefer calling it that, and its limited time events. I do not include endgame as part of a gacha's main content unless the gacha in question is the type to make its story part of its endgame, like a lot of the older gachas used to do, or still do to this day, like FGO or Girls Frontline 1. Not 2, by the way, GFL 2 is piss easy. Most modern gachas these days do not do this, because making story content actually difficult is not casual friendly at all. And daily reminder for you MiHoYo tryhards out there who do nothing but watch Gacha Smack, Ziox, Zajef, and other streamers and spend hours rambling about meta on Discord. Gacha games are primarily played by casuals, because gacha games, as a genre, are casual as fuck. Star Rail is no exception, so its endgame is purely optional too. Yes, it gives a lot of stellar jades, sure, but giving gems is not a condition to make it part of its essential content, because again, your progress in a gacha is not somehow gated just because you don't do endgame stuff.
So here's the other problem with Honkai Star Rail story writing and why the meta of the characters matters. Because if you're a story enjoyer, you also can't enjoy that, Toho, because the story is going to be directly tied to the new character, right? And so not only do characters get power crept and left behind in meta, they also get completely replaced and forgotten about in story. You know what games don't do that? Limbus Company and Wizardry. And that's why we play those games, for the story. And I hope that helps you make sense of that, because it's impossible to get attached to any of these fucking characters because they'll be replaced. And it's the same thing for a lot of Wuthering Waves. They do that. Now, the nice thing about Wuthering Waves story is instead of being 8-9 hours, it's 2 hours. So that's the reason why we play Limbus and Wizardry, for the story. I hope that makes sense.
Endgame is a measurement of your progress, not progress in and of itself. At least not for gacha games. Besides, Star Rail is an extremely simple game. It's so simple that the game is very close to just playing itself. I mean, there are players out there who try to make it a point to try to full auto MOC 12 or something like that, and people out there complain about My Day being an autoplay character when the whole game is almost like that already.
It wasn't always like that, Toho. And that's the point that we're saying, is because when the game first came out, for the first 3 patches, it was actually challenging to do well in the fun endgame content. And that's the problem, that it's been getting worse ever since.
It's one thing if other gacha games started adding their own global account passives, or their own versions of it anyway, because then they'd be a much bigger deal in those games. But here in Star Rail, the gameplay is so watered down that global account passes are nothing more than glorified talents, man. I think of them as just second talents that some characters happen to have the privilege of having. And even if global account passives in the future actually turn out to be broken as hell, Star Rail's overall gameplay won't change. The fact that the game pushes you to roll for new characters in order to keep up with the meta, or with the endgame at least, doesn't change. What exactly is changing here?
Okay. So the combat's getting worse because global passives will set a precedent where you need 4 global passives to keep up with making your teams feel fluid. The story's getting worse because all the characters that you like are only going to be around for 1 patch for 3 weeks, and then they're forgotten about. The exploration will also get worse because they keep on making new characters that power creep exploration in every single way possible, like Acheron being able to insta-slash shit, or Fei Xiao being able to kill 5 enemies at fucking once, right? Or Rappa using the E and flying around at fucking warp speed. So every single aspect of the game is getting power crept or left behind. And that's why it makes it worse in every single regard. Guys, I want to ask you a serious question. What in Honkai Star Rail has gotten better since launch? Maybe the animations of the moves? The animations of the moves look pretty cool. Looks prettier. And that's pretty much it. And unfortunately, that's surface level. All of the enjoyment of the game is either pay-gated or forgotten about. And it's not really a game I want to stick around with. And I hope that makes sense. And the thing is, you've played so many gachas, Toho Sniper, and the reason why your opinion is invalidated is because even when these games get shit, even when these games are bad, you still play them. And that's why nobody gives a fuck about your opinion, because you're a mindless consumer. You are the largest mindless consumer of all gachas. You're almost up there with Fob Master, right? Because Fob's playing 8 gachas right now too. You're a mindless consumer. You will accept any slop that you will be served. Hoyoverse will shit in your mouth and you'll swallow it and you'll like it. That's why nobody gives a fuck. That's why people who say, this is bad, I'm good, I'm going to find a new game, are much more reliable and much more trustworthy than a retard like yourself who will say, I'm getting fucked over for the 8th time today, sir. I don't quite like it, but you know what? Let's go for another round. I'm down for another ravishing. Like, what are we doing here, man?
That people suddenly feel the need to quit the game now when the game has quite literally always been this way.
So the reason why is because 1.x was very good. 2.0 got slightly worse. Everybody was waiting for 3.0 to hopefully see if we got that big new change. We didn't get that big new change. We actually got a bunch of big downgrades, and then we said, oh, now global passive. No, I'm good. I'll pass. Because Xiao Ji's still writing the story. Now, that being said, if they fire Xiao Ji, I might be able to enjoy the story again, so I might go back. But unless they do that, I'm good. And then I will also not be doing endgame in any way, shape, or form.
Global account passives are just a new coat of bullshit over the same old usual slop. You survived everything else up until this point, and this is the deal breaker for you? So all these people whining about how you won't be able to play Star Rail anymore, guys, if you can't roll this certain character, Casterus in this case, are brain dead beyond belief. And anyone who's quitting the game over this whole drama is either a drone or spent a little too much time inside a locked garage with a car running in it. Special shout.
Brother, it's not our fault that you're an idiot and you're seeing this enormous issue for just this one thing, when it's, you got to broaden your perspective and see, okay, they fucked up this, they fucked up that, they fucked up this. Okay, they fucked up the exploration, they fucked up the story, the writing's terrible, the pacing's terrible, they're adding global passives, the balance is terrible, every new unit power creeps the old one, all the characters you enjoy are in the past. When there's all of that, this was merely the final straw. That's it. There's also other great turn-based games right now that you can go play. Like, fuck, Mr. Pokey's playing Epic 7. That game's all right. Wizardry, Limbus Company, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which I consider, and I'm going to say this now, the greatest turn-based RPG ever made in history. Why would I want to sit here playing HSR? You're just a mindless consumer, and that's it. Or you're too loyal. That's it.
Shoutouts to all those special need content creators out there who claim that they're time inside a locked garage with a car running in it. Special shoutouts to all those special need content creators out there who claim that they're gonna quit Star Rail because of this. And I even heard that some of them went so far as to say that it's the ethical thing to do, or something like that.
The reason why I'm going in on this guy so hard is because he's trying very hard to go in on everybody else, but I'm not getting offended by this guy because nobody gives a fuck about his opinion, right? I hope this helps, right? And by the way, yeah, he's the guy calling people fucking dumb right now. Yeah, it's insane. I hope this guy is humiliated once he realizes how much of a fucking idiot he seems. Guys, type 1 if this guy is the biggest retard you've ever seen in your entire life. You're not seeing many 2s, are you, Toho? You're not seeing many 2s. By the way, I want to let you know, there's over 7,000 people watching this shit right now, right? We are now 43 minutes into a 12-minute video that I'm being played on 1.5x speed. This is how much you've given me. This is one of the most embarrassing videos I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, hey, if you are as truly as ethical as you say, you shouldn't just quit Star Rail, you should quit being a gacha content creator straight up. Get the off YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, wherever the because most gacha games are far from ethical. And chances are, the only gachas you've ever played are Hoyo plus Wua. So you don't even know what an ethical gacha even looks like.
Okay. All right, let's unpack this. Gacha games, to quote a great man, are only predatory, to quote a great man, if you're greedy and stupid. Gacha games are some of the most free-to-play friendly options of any of the games I've ever played. Now, I myself play many gachas completely free-to-play. I played, let's just think here, I was free-to-play for over a year in Summoner's War. I was free-to-play during my entire experience in Epic 7. I was free-to-play for a year at Honkai Star Rail. I I would have been free to play in Genshin Impact if I wasn't a content creator. I'm free to play in Pokemon Go. Yeah, I'm a light spender in Wizardry, and if I wasn't a content creator, I would just simply not spend money on these fucking games. It's really not hard to do. Wuthering Waves, you can play that game completely free to play with how much compensation you receive from the devs and be completely fine. Same thing with Wizardry. Same thing with Limbus Company, right? When these games become thousands of dollars money pits, that's when you don't want to play them, right? And what a lot of us content creators do, the reason why we play these gacha games is one, because we like them, and we can also advocate for people to be responsible with their spending, right? We're not going to ignore their existence. We can play them and advocate to make sure that you spend responsibly, that you pay responsibly. You're also not out of line if you do spend money on a gacha game, whether you spend $50 or $100 or $200. Now, let me tell you why that is. I like doing a rule. $1 per 2 hours of enjoyment. Just because you can play free to play doesn't mean it isn't predatory, though. Absolutely. 100%. However, there is the alternative to play completely fine. If you are playing these gacha games for 400 hours and you drop $200 on it, does that mean you're an idiot? No, absolutely not. Because what that did was reduce the amount of time that you might have spent on other things, and the entire time you were content. And if these games are making you happy that long, then great. That's why nobody's going to guilt you for spending $80 on Elden Ring, because it's going to deliver you around 160 to 200 hours of pure enjoyment. That does not make Elden Ring predatory in any means. Absolutely not. You just make sure you spend accordingly to what you're going to get. And it's really that easy. And I really hope that makes sense, right? Because if you're going to sit there and complain about somebody spending $200 to play a video game for 400 hours, brother, movie tickets are $15 to see a 2-hour film. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
I mean, at least Techie gave Limbus Company a try. Too bad he got that ass filtered hard as f***. Ethically quitting gacha games, holy shit, man. I mean...
Okay, so let's talk about that. You farmed a couple alms. Good job. I beat Kanto 1. I beat Kanto 2. I beat Kanto 3. And then I beat the hardest boss of Kanto 448. I never stopped because I got filtered by a boss. I beat it, and then I put it on pause because it's a story game. So we're just going to lie on another CC's name for what? For fun? The only thing I got filtered by was me not wanting to read. And also, I'm playing that game probably in the next month, but what's the point of rushing through a visual novel? There's no reason whatsoever. And I still actively engage with the community at least twice a week. But yeah, I mean, you did get a good farm. You did say the funny thing that would get a reaction out of chat. And I'm not going to lie, chat, I'm kind of embarrassed that you would let this guy actually bait you into feeding into his ego, because he's going to see y'all's reaction and think, look at that, bro, I was right. So just know that, right? You just made this guy think that he was right. And that's insane.
There's a reason why I call this series Delusional Gacha Takes. To play a bit of devil's advocate here, I do want to bring up the fact that this global account passage drama stuff came after several months of concern out of the Western player base about power creep, about how Star Rail towards the end of its 2.x client version was having more and more of a power creep problem.
Sorry I am late.
I also want to remind this guy, yeah, Toho, I would have DM'd you about this, by the way, but I can't find our DMs anywhere, so I just haven't. Otherwise, I would have DM'd. Yeah, oh well. If this video makes you angry, though, I'm okay with that, because I hope it changes your content, because this shit's embarrassing as fuck.
So I can see why this drama is blown up so much, because to these players, Casterus' global revive is vindication
Yeah, there's a reason why you have a 35% dislike ratio on your video, man.
of their concerns, and proof that miHoYo isn't listening to them at all, and is just doing whatever they want. I mean, first things first, I think it's incredibly naive that Western gacha players think that Eastern gacha developers will listen to anything they have to say. But hey, to their credit, maybe they whine enough about something, they just might. But if
I want to remind you that the reason why the weapon banner was changed in Genshin Impact was because a video of mine blew up on Western CC side, which caused it to gain traction on Eastern CC side, and then they changed the weapon banner. So it's hard, but it happens every now and then.
That's what it comes down to, then that makes Star Rail players no different from Genshin players. And considering that a lot of people dropped Genshin back in the day...
Oh, that's the thing. Honkai Star Rail players are now becoming new Genshin players. Or like, that's pretty much it. Like, that is the scenario, 100%. Nobody's arguing against that.
To play Star Rail 2 years ago or so, that's truly ironic, isn't it? It's almost like trash players will always be trash. I'll leave y'all with this. Like I said earlier, while I'm not exactly happy that, global account passes are a thing now, if they're gonna stay, then I'll just have to learn to work with them, or even without them, perhaps.
Work with them means spending $300 a new one comes out, even if you don't want the character, by the way. And that's what he's okay with working with. Yeah. Yep. Honkai Star Rail, the turn-based strategy game where the strategy is making sure you pull the right units off the banner. Man, insane.
I think that at the very least, MiHoYo should have waited another year or so before introducing it as a new mechanic of sorts, but clearly they had their own plans. If you are genuinely upset about global account passes and you want to quit Star Rail because of them, then hey, who am I to stop you, right? It's a free country where I live. I mean, just look at the idiot we elected as a president, for a second time, by the way. But at the very least, if you're gonna...
Trump's gonna have a third term, by the way. I'm just letting you guys know that now.
Quit the game, just quit it. And get it over with. Like, don't make angry twit longers about why you're quitting, or make entire videos making a big deal, like an announcement or some shit, about why you're quitting, how it's the ethical thing to do. Oh, I'm not at fault here. It's not my fault. It's the game.
Okay, so the reason why people do that is to warn people about what Honkai Star Rail is becoming, and warning them that it's going to become increasingly more predatory because these people care about their audience, right? Because these games can be very predatory, and people should be warned about that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Game's fault. Because that's, dare I say, f***ing cringe. And that's coming from a guy who unironically plays 13 gacha games at once and has a whole bunch of anime body pillows hanging on the wall behind him. And if nothing else, I hope...
Oh my god, he's self-aware about how much of a loser he is, and he's still doing this.
...that the average intelligence quotient for the Star Rail player base goes up even just a little bit when Casters comes out. Though I don't exactly have high hopes for that, considering that I expect all the content creators who quit the game because of this will come crawling back eventually. Because, like, what else are they gonna play? Genshin? Like, Star Rail players left Genshin 2 years ago. Why would they go...
Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Wizardry. Limbus Company. A different fucking game. Watch anime. React videos. Monster Hunter Wilds. Ananta. Azure Premilia. Arc Knights Enfield. What the fuck's that other game called with the girl? Infinity Nikki. Wuthering Waves. Girls Frontline 2. Metaphor Refantasio. Kazan. First Berserker Kazan. Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. Sekiro. Bloodborne. Elden Ring. Stellar Blade. Oblivion. Legitimately anything fucking else. It is, there's so many games right now, it's insane. It's really not that hard. Fucking Black Beacon. It's really not that hard.
Go back. Zenless or Wuwa? Those games actually take skill. Why would they play those either? Gonna be an interesting next few weeks, that's for sure. And that'll do it for the second episode of Delusional Gacha Takes. Once again, I'm Doohoo, your host with the most, and I hope you enjoyed listening to me.
Did bro just call himself the host with the most? That came out as someone who's not Amanda Bynes on fucking Nickelodeon TV? Jesus Christ.
Me put these delusional gacha dumbasses in their places. If you guys have any other gacha...
Great. And that is why I reacted to that video. Because Little Pup says he put all these other people in their place. Brother, the only thing that you put in place is my dick in your mother's mouth. You didn't do shit. You're not hard as fuck. This video makes you seem like the life you live is embarrassing. And don't step into the kitchen if you can't handle the heat. This shit is ridiculous. And let's say you make another one, Toho. You will become the lolcow of this community. That's it. That's it. You will become the lolcow. That is what you are right now. It's insane.
Drama going on that you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more, and boy will there be more. All my social links are down in the description below, and if you really enjoy the content, consider supporting me on Patreon as well, and come watch my streams right here on YouTube or over on Twitch, because I dual stream. Thanks for watching, be cool y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.
Please. For the love of God. Well, guys, was I wrong about anything I said about that video? Did that? Nope. I know. Did that live up to y'all's expectations? Was that not one of the worst videos you've ever seen? Guys, I want to remind you, that was a 16-minute video played on 1.5 times speed. And there was so much mental retardation, it took me an hour to get through all of that. That was fucking insane. Good Lord. May God have mercy on your soul, Tuhu. What the fuck?